Hey guys, you've asked for it, and here it is. This is an updated list of games on the Xbox One that can be had for cheap. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. The Borderlands Handsome Collection is a compilation of the Borderlands games, developed by Gearbox Studios and published by 2K Games. This collection came about because 2K Games released Borderlands, a pre-sequel, in kind of a weird spot. It came out right after the newer platforms, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, were released. I would definitely recommend this collection because it includes Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel for the PS4 and Xbox One, along with all of the DLC that came with it. In that DLC includes all of the playable characters that were included in the original releases, along with new expansions, new levels, and new mini-campaigns. So, as we know, Borderlands is notorious for including great gunplay and great overall gameplay. If you're looking for a huge value for your dollar, I would definitely look no more further than Borderlands Handsome Collection.
Hear about the missing miners. Might be able to help. What happened?
The Witcher 3 finds you playing as Geralt of Rivia, a Witcher, which is basically a monster hunter for hire, who travels from town to town seeking to help those with monster trouble. This is obviously the third in the Witcher series, which is actually based on a series of fantasy novels, and noted for having a very vibrant and colorful world with very memorable characters and just all around being very well delivered. The game itself is extremely pretty to look at. The environments are so well crafted and just a real feast for the eyes. Every character you meet, every interaction you have is memorable in its own little way. The game finds you having these very special moments in just even the little things. There's just an incredible amount of content here that is sure to last anybody hours, days, weeks, months of fun gameplay. We recommend Witcher 3 for anyone who is looking for a really, really deep experience and has the time to invest into a huge game.
Talk, but you can't. Or call you wham-a-wham like this.
Exactly. Why do you wham 'em?
Sleeping Dogs was developed by United Front Games and published by Square Enix on August 14th, 2012. It was then later ported to the next-gen systems, now current-gen, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So, right off the bat, you can tell that this game takes a lot of influences from the Grand Theft Auto series. It has a similar heat system and ability to steal cars. Don't let that make you feel like this is a ripoff, though, because the combat in the game is a standout. I would honestly say that this is some of the best hand-to-hand combat I've played in a game of this caliber before. Despite the game's graphics, camera, and animations being kind of the game definitely makes up for it with the combat, as I've said, and the voice acting. The story is also very compelling. It reminds me of something that you would see on HBO or some sort of network like that.
The Dead Island Definitive Collection includes Dead Island Riptide, and Dead Island Retro Rampage. One of the things that Dead Island actually nails is the combat of the game. While there are firearms in the game, the real meat of the combat is the use of melee weapons and crafted melee weapons. The melee combat is really tight and intuitive, and each thud and smack and bash that you give a zombie's head feels really rewarding. So with all three games, all their DLC, There is a ton of content here, and a lot of fun to be had, and many zombies to get their heads smashed.
Another movie-based game on the list is Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of Mordor is based upon the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings game series. In the game, you control a character named Talion, a ranger who was killed by Sauron. The gameplay is not unlike the Batman Arkham series. I find the combat is very fluid and very easy to control. Not only that, but the game has an amazing system called the Nemesis system. The Nemesis system is really cool because it makes a lot of people's playthroughs different. Hunting down and killing these orcs will help to weaken Sauron's army. Every time that you defeat one of them, they'll drop a power-up that you can install on Talion's weapons to provide other buffs. Alternatively, if you're killed by one of them in the current mission, the mission will be cancelled, and if you go back to fight the orc, he'll be powered up and even harder to beat the next time. I really think that this was a great addition to the game.
When the Fallout series made its next-gen debut, it was met with a pretty lukewarm reception. Many longtime Fallout fans felt that the game was lacking in dialogue, in choices, in overall the deep experience that the other Fallout games have offered in the past. While that may be so, Fallout 4 still offers a super unique, very fun experience for casual and hardcore gamers. It is a first-person shooter with RPG elements, meaning you upgrade your stats and gain perks over time, and of course, loot everything you can find. Also, Todd Howard said if we don't include this in the video that he was going to sue us. So, here you go, Todd.
Alien Isolation is a video game based off of the Alien movie franchise. Developed by Creative Assembly and published by Sega, Alien Isolation released in 2014. Because this game is based off of an existing movie franchise and one that is held so highly, I feel like this game had a lot to live up to, and I honestly feel that it did its job. Everything from the audio to even the graphical interface and the DOS interface that you have to use to save the game and locate different items, I felt that everything was spot on. It truly felt to me like I was playing an Alien movie. With this game being a first-person survival horror type game, I feel like it did its job. It was quite scary at times, especially when the alien captures you, because there's nothing that you can do to stop the alien from killing you. Essentially, if you get captured, it's game over.
Batman Arkham Knight is the fifth and conclusion to the Arkham series. And while this game does come from some pretty fantastic roots, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, this actually did kind of fly under the radar, not unlike the Batman himself. This game is very much in the same vein as previous Arkham titles. You play as Batman through a semi-linear story that exists in an open world, so you're free to explore. So even if you're a casual Batman fan, there is something here for you, and at the price it is now, it is absolutely worth a purchase.
Do I come in the Batcave, start messing with all your stuff?
The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is a video game that was released on November 4th, 2014, which is developed by Edmund Macmillan. This game definitely has a cult following, and I would honestly say that it is one of my favorite video games ever released. With the game's weird art style and premise, you control a young boy named Isaac, whose mother hears the voice of God. She punishes Isaac and locks him in his room. Isaac then has to escape. The gameplay in Binding of Isaac Rebirth is a top-down twin-stick shooter. In the game, you're able to utilize a ton of different power-ups. So, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is on the Xbox Live Arcade, and there is also an expansion called Afterbirth. I definitely recommend picking up both of them if you can afford it, because Afterbirth is like an expansion, and it just unlocks a ton more content to the game, including different power-ups.
Dragon Age Inquisition is developed by BioWare, who have also developed games like Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic. You level up over time, you gain new powers and abilities, as do all your followers. They all level up on their own, and you can guide their skill tree up and make sure that you can build the right party that you want. Like some other games on this list, Dragon Age Inquisition is a massive game with a very, very deep story and a lot of different things to do. There is a ton of dialogue, there's a lot of conversation in between yourself and your party members. You can learn about their histories, their backgrounds, and I think the writing is fantastic in Dragon Age Inquisition. I think that a lot of the characters are really, really unique and have really well-written stories. So if you like dragons, if you like big fantasy worlds, this is the game for you. Check it out.
So, that was our updated list of top Xbox One games for cheap. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for checking the video out. We'll be doing one on the PS4 top games and games that you should own on the Nintendo Switch.